Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I'm Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And back on the pod again, but making his first studio appearance, Tony sounds good.
Ahoy, hoy.
Oh, because Chelsea sucks again on a weekend and Ron can't make it for some reason. Says he had food poisoning. But I think he's more blue than green at this point.
Yeah. So did who was their last manager? Who was the manager before that? And then who was their manager before that? And
right.
Who was their manager before that? And then the intern before that.
Ron's had more food poisoning than they've had managers in the last 6 months. That's not true. He'd be in the hospital if that were the case.
Yeah.
So for tonight's episode of the Brewtiful Game, and Tony, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you.
I am happy to be here.
Thank you.
It's like you've been on the pod more than you are because we do mention your name a lot.
And it's funny, you always give my Instagram handle, which I kind of like it. It's not like my DJ name.
Yeah. I like, sounds great, but you do sound good. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is a singer and a songwriter. He is amazing. And an audio engineer and sound designer. I don't know, all things.
Hey, who wrote your theme song?
Who wrote the theme song? I actually wrote that theme song.
And I think you should give yourself some credit for that. I don't know if you've ever talked about that on the pod.
I don't know if I did.
We did. Who did you?
I can't. Yeah, we did a big shout out.
Real early.
The person who had ran it had passed away. Who was one of the co-founders of the group had passed away. So we gave we did in the very beginning, and we gave a shout out when she had passed away. But I don't remember if we really said anything about it.
I'm gonna butcher it. Tartan
Terrors.
Tartan Terrors. There. Yep.
Of course, I toured with a Scottish band wearing a kilt.
Yeah, and that's why I came here to give you your proper due for writing that theme song that you don't give yourself credit for. That's the reason. I'm going to leave now. I've already done my bit.
I appreciate it. Actually, funny story about the Tartan Terrors. Where I'm working now, we host this big Celtic music festival in June, and we hired them to come in for their 35th anniversary. So,
I love.
Yeah,
Awesome.
at the end of the day, all the Celtic bands come on the big main stage and do like a big Kaylee together. And if my guitar might just be living backstage for when they come out, I may have to join those dudes for that.
Do it.
Oh, it's happening.
Anyway, already derailed us.
Yep. And let me tell you,
Welcome to the pod. You fit right in.
It's already done it.
For any guitar players listening, let me tell you how hell it is to tune your guitar to a pair of bagpipes that plays along with you. That is,
And that's two things.
Yeah, dude, it's its own hurdle. It's harder than finding a Chelsea manager. That's a difficult one. How was that for a segue? So VAR strikes again as on tonight's episode as Arsenal move 5 points to clear the top and West Ham move back into the relegation zone. Then as the halftime whistle blows, the should he stay or should he go slot of the Salisbury steak and the euphoric Eastern African egg roll of the Egyptian king, Tony shares his thoughts on Arne Slot as we all take a little time or talk about managers following Slot getting booed during Liverpool's 1-1 draw with aforementioned Chelsea. And oh, by the way, Ron's Chelsea are eyeing their new permanent big name head coach as well. All of that in this new segment called Tony's Managerial Muster Musings.
Ugh.
That's pretty good, Ferris.
Thank you.
The preview of what I'm going to say is woof.
And finally, the second half of the pod, we're going to check in once again with the events in Scotland and let you know who won the title in Spain, as well as update you on who could be the next club to join the Premier League next season in this edition of the La Liga's Roundup. But first, our beer. We have a new person, and I almost screwed up our order. I was like, on to the foot. Wait, nope.
Yep.
Nope. One thing changed, and it's totally throwing me off. We got to talk about our beer.
Absolutely.
I know you guys have two beers, so I'll let you go with your first one.
If you could pull my beer out, Mr. Ferris, while I'm doing this. So,
I love that it's your first time in the studio, and you're just ordering Ferris around like a little servant. It makes me happy.
Yep.
Aye, Captain.
So, I was nice enough to be. Y'all were nice enough to invite me here to this a couple hours ago. Hour and a half ago, and I was like, what do I have in my fridge? And I was like, I want to do something for Liverpool. I want to do something. I don't want to do something negative. I want to do something more like positive for players that have been with us for a long time. And I was like, I don't have any Egyptian beers. And then I said, wait a minute, our Egyptian king, my little 5'9" hero, I have a Little King's beer from Ohio.
Wait, that's
Little
amazing.
King's Cream Ale. It's a little 7 fluid ounce beer that you can get in Ohio. when it works twofold, the Egyptian King, Little Kings thing is great, but also this beer, it's fine. It's not great. It's fine. And how else would I describe Liverpool's season? But because of the season we've had, I needed something more than 7 ounces. And I'm like, what am I going to do? You know what? Andy Robertson's also leaving. So I've got the good stuff. So
you got some Lagavulin?
Are going to enjoy some Lafroig.
Oh, Lafroig. Oh, I couldn't tell what it was for the camera.
We're going to have a drum of Lafroig, and then I'll go to my Little Kings.
Dang it. Now I may have to
You're welcome
get my
anytime.
scotch. I know. Now I'm like,
So if you will hand me your glass.
wait,
Mr. Ferris.
is Little Kings the one that's supposed to be had with the Cons potato chips, Ferris?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That was like, I don't know, episode 30 maybe, if that.
Yeah, you came back with the Ohio goods.
An Ohio delicacy. And actually, you guys went a while ago, and we had was it the first Pride game of the season, or what were we doing?
It was the first Pride game of the season.
Yeah, it was the first Pride game of the season, and Tony's like, "Do I have something for you?"
I put like a 6-spoon.
And I had a Little Kings beer at Inter and Co Stadium for the Pride home opener, and I couldn't have been more happy.
That's flipping amazing.
Okay. That's what I got. And what are you going to chase your scotch with? Because I can't share the Little Kings.
No, you're perfectly fine. You're going to share one with me. I'm just going to go with the classic Pacifico. So,
excellent.
Two beers we've technically had on the pod. The second one we have not had on the pod before.
I will cheers you when he is ready.
Well, I will.
That's right.
So my beer of the pod is a brewery that we quite adore. I can't remember if we've done this particular style. I know we've done their quad. I know we've done their wit beer, or their Belgian wit, but I have dipped back into one of my favorite styles, a dark Belgian style double. This is named as the world's best Belgian style double, dark Belgian style double, I should say. From over in Belgium, I've gone over the history before, but it is a brewery that's been around for a long, long time. And they've started. Well, I guess you should qualify that. Early 1900s. There are other older breweries in Europe, but this one's been around for quite some time. But it comes from an area where the Trappist monks they basically fled to. And so while this is not a Trappist brewery, it basically they continued on the tradition of the style. So I have gone back to St. Bernardist to get a Prior 8, which is a very orange-red label, reminiscent of the Puma days of and the very tight Puma Arsenal kits that they had. And
one size fits Arsenal.
Yeah, and this dark Belgian-style double, St. Bernardus Prior 8, stands out with its fruity aroma, reminiscent of tree fruits like red apples, but complemented by exotic touches of figs and dates. The whole is rounded off perfectly by impressions of caramel and roast malt. The full taste is malty and fruity in equal measure and achieves the perfect balance between bitter and sweet. And I can't think of anything better to have after this past weekend's match with Arsenal than celebrating that beautiful Belgian bastard of Trossard with this delicious Belgian beer. There you go.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Why don't you pop that? And as soon as you do, we'll wait for you. I don't know if I've ever actually seen that beer.
Yeah?
You never seen that one?
No.
I hold this up because I feel like Tony will appreciate
I love that.
my coaster of unlocking.
I adore that.
Yeah, I don't think this is not one. I know I've had it.
I don't even think I've ever had it. I don't know. I can't remember
I've
ever
had
like
St. Bernardus,
seeing
but
it.
I don't think I've had that one.
I don't think I have either. That's what I'm.
I
Definitely
think
had St. Bernardus,
the first
but
time
I had that one.
I think the first time I had is actually that cool Belgian bar in Stanford that we found, and they had it on tap.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
like,
I
"Oh,
can't think of the name. That place is awesome."
Yeah.
What is? I can look that up now.
yeah."
Ferris, have you had the Frag before?
I don't know if I ever had either, so I'm
It
really
is-
excited.
It
is effervescent.
Oh,
It
it's full of peat moss. It is, and
Oh, and it smelled that way.
I
as
believe
soon as
I
it was
got
poured.
this because Blake suggested it. I think that's why.
yeah, I'm a big fan of anything from the Isle of Islay in Scotland. If it smells like you should be pulling a Ice Age man out of the bog to study his mummified body, that's a good Scotch. That's a good one. That's my kind of Scotch.
Campfire of pleasantness.
Yep.
Oh, it smells that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
look at that dark.
Robertson.
Look at that dark ruby red. And the official St. Bernardus chalice, nonetheless.
Fantastic.
And Kieran Tierney, who we'll talk about.
Yeah,
coming up.
indeed.
Oh, heck yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Skull.
Oh, I love a double. Allagash double's always been one of my favorite, but this might take that cake for me. This is delicious.
It looks delicious.
It looks very good.
This is wow.
Good morning.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
This boat wakes you up and puts you to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
It is like it's aromatic. I don't mean this in like a religious way. It's holy.
I mean it in a religious way. Totally.
I would argue that fact with that scotch. It's perfectly fine.
Almost. This is gonna sound really weird. If you were to take a tree and cut out the tree and have, you would almost pour it from that tree, and that's what it tastes like.
Yeah,
but it's fantastic. Like you're right. This would be one that I would love to have with a cigar. I don't know what kind of cigar, but one that I would definitely want to have with a cigar.
And then I'm going to chase that with Little Kings. This one's to you. Mo Salah, running down the wing. We did you wrong, my boy.
Oh,
a Liverpool legend.
You deserve a better beer than this too, but I'm sorry, I was on short notice.
I love this pod already. This is making me very happy. No offense, Ron, when you listen to this. We hope you're not on the toilet when you do still.
Yes, but
we made sure we weren't going to mention that in the pod because that'd be embarrassing. Oh, man, the only problem with this beer, it's so good. I just want to cut this off and have you guys around the campfire and hang out to talk the words like.
We would bring this scotch and then
I would have
12-pack of the Little Kings. Actually, I think they sell it in 16 packs, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
I think it's 16.
I think it's 16.
I wonder if I can get those over here in PA.
I can't. Well, you might.
I mean, like, it's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's only like Central Ohio.
The problem
They really. Yeah, I don't even know if you can get it.
Typically, I have to buy the big box. It's still the weird beer store here. You can go to places and get your 6-pack stuff, but stuff like that you'll only find at the beer stores usually.
Do they have? And I don't even know. I know we have maybe some here, but do they still have like the drive-through liquor stores there in PA? They have them in Ohio a bunch.
I was gonna say that's Ohio more. So yeah, I know that
they have them in South Florida.
They did for.
I think they still do like on the reservation.
And I'm from North Carolina, so we had the classic brew through. You guys remember the brew through?
The what?
You never the brew through?
No.
You would get the T-shirts that brew through. It was like a building, like a car wash. Except you drove in, and they're like, "What beer do you want?" Well, and they would put.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Well, I mean, this was not necessarily a building. It could have been like an old gas station or an old McDonald's.
No, this was like a chain, like a local, a regional chain called Brew Through. Yeah.
We had where I went to college at Florida State. Go Seminoles. Speaking of crappy football teams, love them anyway. But in Tallahassee, we had a place called Mike's Beer Barn that was like that, and they would drop the keg in the back of your car. That was when you were able to get a keg and Natty Light for like $35.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I remember.
But then here's where the sham was. If you wanted to buy the tap for it, that was like $85, and you had to rent it. And you're like, what the hell? I buy this cheap ass keg of beer, but I'm spending double on the freaking keg to tap the guy.
You can tell Tony went to like bougie Florida State because I'm like. We were like in North Carolina. Hold on now, that Natty Light that's $35. Milwaukee's best is $25.
Beast is Beast. My dear fiance Caitlin, which you both know, will say Beast is the only beer she's ever given away. She would drink any beer. Yeah, she had one sip of Beast and was like, it's not worth it. As a college student, being like, you know what, it's not. I don't want to be drunk that much.
Yeah.
Speaking of toilets, the Beast would make me bricks in the morning. Like I don't know what it was about the beef, but after a night of having that, the stomach would just be so heavy.
What is the cheap beer at UCF?
Because
it was Natty Light.
No, I think then it was your Bud Light. It was a lot of Bud Light. I think Bud Select was a thing back then. But yeah, that was any bars you went to, Knights Library or any of those type of things. It was always dollar.
We're
Bud
deviating,
Light,
but I feel like it's on topic because it's about beer. So
yeah,
when I was on tour with that Tart and Terrace band is when they released Bud Light Lime, and one of the guys in there, I love him, one of my favorite humans, loved that stuff and would have cases of it when we were on the tour. And I would sit here, oh my gosh, it like
Nope.
it has to be ice cold and drunk fast. But that's still like saying that's the best way to get the motor oil down, except motor oil might have more flavor with a gross, very unnatural lime flavor.
Did we put that over ice?
Shut your mouth. That's where we should have had Tony on for the flipping gross ice episode.
Beer in the ice.
You know what? I think you guys were a little harsh about it.
I don't think we were.
And then you said, actually, it's not that bad. And then the next week you're like, oh no, I would never.
Well, here's the thing. I had
doing it again is a bad idea.
Pacifico on it.
Pacifico's perfect.
Yes.
Little Kings would probably be great.
Because wasn't that because we read the story of it? Because I didn't know the story of it for the longest time. We read the story of it. Wasn't it meant to strictly be a shot, like an after shot beer?
No, it was something that was being picked up on in the UK, and all these UK pub guys like being interviewed are like, I don't want, what is this? Like they were so angry about it. Like it was like a Gen Z fad, but I don't know if that's really true. If that's just someone that was looking to make an artitle that if you put Gen Z in it makes people angry and they read the article.
I'm sure the
courtesy of AI nowadays. All right. Little King's Cream Ale is iconic Cincinnati-born beer.
Not a cream ale, by the way. I cannot stress enough that it is not a cream ale.
Yeah.
Launched in 1958 by the Soling Brewing Company, famous for its 7-ounce green bottles, created as a convenient sidecar chaser for whiskey at a local restaurant, Montgomery Inn. The 6% cream ale quickly became a popular national brand and is now produced by the Cincinnati Beverage Company. There you go. Thank you, AI. Where was that 6 years ago when we had this beer?
Well, you said it was a chaser because you made us do a shot of something.
Yeah.
I can't.
You did Little Kings before? I didn't know you'd done Little King before.
Yeah, why? Because I had done a trip to.
He brought that back in Cons potato chips.
I don't listen to this pod.
And we had that as kids, and I brought back that in Cons, the Cons potato chips.
Yep,
delicacies of Ohio.
Yeah, that was a very audible episode as far as the chips and stuff were concerned. I was like, how do we do this to not gross everybody out? I don't care. These chips are tasty. The salt and vinegar ones were the bomb.
Anyway,
salt and vinegar. That's a good segue.
Fair enough.
Let's move over to the footy, and our big Premier League conversation tonight is West Ham 0, Arsenal 1 in a tightly contested, high stakes battle in. Hold on. In a world where it's a tightly contested, high-stakes battle in London, it took until the 83rd minute when Leandro Trossard, thank you, you beautiful Belgian, fired Arsenal into the lead. And that's when it really started to kick off as the dark arts of the delay started to creep in. And with an additional 8 minutes of extra time on the board, it only took 5 of that as West Ham's Callum Wilson hit home a potential match-tying strike. But wait! In stepped VAR from stage right, who somehow always have to be his center of attention in a big Premier League match nowadays. And after a 4-minute and change review, which included the on-field ref of Chris Kavanagh going over to the monitor to have a peek, he then informed the West Ham London crowd that the goal was chalked off to a deemed foul on Arsenal's goalkeeper David Raya moments before during the course of the ensuing corner. And we ask, did VAR get the call right? The consensus has been actually that was a foul.
Correct.
So
I think it was a foul. I don't think you can argue that. And to be fair, I haven't heard that anywhere else that it hasn't been a foul.
Yeah,
I think it was a foul on the goalkeeper. I think a lot of where the contention comes in is Trossard bear hugging the player that had the foul, Declan Rice bear hugging, doing a 2-step dance, pushing the other player into the goal. And the overall corner talking point this whole season of it is just a melee in the box. So how can you deem any one thing a foul? Because we don't go, well, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul. So 2 fouls equals 1, and then you call a pen. It's not done that way. But there are games where, and Arsenal have made a habit of this throughout the season, of surrounding the goal, keeper making contact, push, all of these things, and it has not been called. So the main talking point to this is not that this was not a foul, because I think everybody can agree this was a foul, but the many other VAR talking points about it, that it had to go to monitor, that once again, I hate this about Premier League, they pause the monitor when the ref walks up. Yeah. So the first thing is they see is about what they're going to call, not just playing it. Hey, I've stepped up to the monitor. Let me play the sequence of events. Now let me zoom in on it. Now let me slow motion it. Now let me show everything. Anyways, but all of these other talking points around this one goal that has massive repercussions on the league, because now Arsenal again are 5 points ahead with another plus. It's a +2 goal difference now, if I'm not mistaken. So they added a +1 to this.
Yeah, and
West Ham another -1 to this, and they move back into the relegation zone, where a draw at the time would have kept them above. So just massive repercussions.
Did you hear the audio from the call? And it's also what a lot of people said.
They released earlier today, I think.
Basically, since the ball, those other ones weren't where the ball was. I think literally he said, like, it's nothing. It's not where the ball is. It's this.
Whereas this directly impacted the play of the ball,
which it makes no sense, because Raya had time to get on his feet and look for the goal to score after the fact. And if I punch you on the sideline, that's off the ball. That has nothing to do with the ball, but I'm going to be sent for it. So that reasoning doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know if it's fair to call punching somebody on the sidelines the same as the
because that's like violent conduct, right? Yeah, that would be like.
I will agree that the tugging and the grabbing in the box has gotten a little crazy league wide, and they need to figure out how exactly are we going to call this and be more consistent. Because I think had this kind of stuff not been happening all season, nobody would have blinked at this call. The West Ham fans would have, but I think it's a big deal now, because the whole season has been the kind of tugging and shoving in the box. And everybody's just kind of looking for what can or cannot we do, because it feels sometimes it's a foul, sometimes it's not.
I think the pulling down of the goalkeeper's arm is distinctly different than calls that have not been made.
100%.
Sure.
I think that's the cross line, right? So the refs have chosen to say, okay, it's crazy, we're going to protect the goalkeepers. That's pretty much the attitude they've taken. Not this match, but I mean the season, right? Like that's kind of been like the attitude. Okay, so it'll be WWE.
Arsenal have done this to other goalies in the league.
No, they have not. Hold on, here we go.
They're not pulling the arm down, but they're backing into. Didn't
impede his arm though. Yep.
And they're inhibiting. I can't remember the one against Bayern really early in the season against Man United, where I think Bayern is just a big. You know what, but it's besides the point. And then there was another one, the Chelsea match that was called out, and there was a.
But I think jostling, bumping into physicality with the goal is a lot different than grabbing the arm and pulling it down, as well as being pulled from behind on the jersey.
But yeah, the guy pulling the arm down was also being bear hugged and grabbed onto by an Arsenal player. Like, what's he supposed to do? Like, again, I think it was a foul, but I don't think that you can't draw a line and say that's the moment when it's a melee around them in the box.
Here's the only thing I'm going to say about comparing it to other plays, because yes, there have been other plays that could have been called a foul on several teams, Arsenal included, in previous matches, and they definitely need to figure that out. But I don't think you can start saying, like, well, as a ref, I can't say, well, that's clearly a foul, but Anthony Taylor didn't call this 3 weeks ago, so I'm not going to call it now. I don't think you can really do that.
But to that point, though, it's the inconsistency of what.
Well, now I say, boy, I might just be a simple country lawyer, but let the evidence be known that if we are to go back,
Aston Villa,
if we are to go back to the last time a goal was disallowed for an Arsenal player pulling the arms down of a goalkeeper, that would have been 2023 against Leicester City. And in fact, Arsenal was penalized and the goal did not stand.
That's 2 years ago. We barely knew what VAR was.
But that's what I'm telling you. It's how far you got to go back to Arsenal doing something like people keep saying Arsenal does this all the time, but they don't. Not that.
No,
not
yes,
that
they
foul.
do. Look at the whole season.
They don't immediately as the goalie is reaching up for the ball, grab his arms. They touch him before the ball is like over in his area. I think that's like the fine line.
I sent you guys multiple. I sent you.
But all those are pretty.
This would be a terrible name for, but the troll football, and they're all screenshots.
Yeah, but those screenshots are
going
terrible.
Over the things that are okay, not okay, and one of them is Gabriel backing into elbow up in the chest region of Martinez as he jumps for a ball. How can he possibly grab that ball there? And yet
you need to look at the video and not the picture, because one of them also has a hand.
No, that's not what VAR says, because VAR pauses the picture as the head ref walks over and gets to look at that. So why can't it's again. It's the inconsistency. I'm saying both players jostling into each other
and jumping up, but slapping and holding his arm. And I hate the one shot that's on that thing you sent where.
But then don't protect the goaltenders. Why protect his arms then?
Because that's how a goalkeeper works. He uses his hands.
Well, you're not supposed to use your hands as a player that's supposed to be playing the ball with your feet or your head. But why are your hands involved? That's why we have handball.
You derailed here. I don't understand the correlation.
You're going to jump up and use your parts of your arms to get in the way of the goaltender, right?
Yeah. Just don't grab his arm.
Your arms.
Don't grab his arms and pull him down. I'm just saying.
Again, I think that was a foul.
The last time Arsenal did it was 2023, and it was called against them. Pulling the goalkeeper's arms down.
I think though they need to clarify this rule then, because I think that's where this is.
Yes, it's the inconsistency.
But I don't agree with the people who I'm not going to name any names, but people who are Arsenal haters specifically, who are going to say I'm going to use this call to relitigate every other thing I've seen this year. I think that's because you could do that with any team on any call ever.
Yeah.
Trust me, Liverpool's been nailed multiple times this year with different calls. I think you need to just look at it at this game. And I think looking at this game, it is a foul and it was the right call. And I can't use that to be like, and now I'm mad about these other games.
Yeah. Because for West Ham,
every bit of conjecture after this game is going, well, hey, Arsenal have gotten away with so much on corners throughout it. What is the line? Because nobody knows what the line is.
But is it just Arsenal?
Because it's not
the most, but hold on.
Because Arsenal's good at scoring them.
Hold on.
Corner.
No. Because we're talking two different things here, right? It's the melee in the box of the hugging and all of that. No, that's not just Arsenal. It's the crowding of the goalkeeper, which has really come into fad this year because of Arsenal. And you look at that very first game of the Premier League season. So I think we are talking two entirely different things here.
I'll be honest. I look at this call and I see Man City's not going to win the league, and I'm totally okay with this call.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, you're saying everybody's doing it, but it's Arsenal's fault. I don't like that. That's the argument I'm hearing. Kind of Tony saying like with the punt. I'm like, what do you make up your mind? That one idiot that you shared who was like, Arteta's such a hypocrite. That video is hysterical because he goes, this manager, the biggest hypocrite. And so are a lot of the other managers in the Premier League because they always say good when the call's for them and bad when it's them. What the
football? Welcome to football.
Welcome to football. I know. What a stupid comment because he also says the most hypocritical manager, and there's a lot of other ones in the Premier League as well. And they do that. It's like, what are you talking about? And by the way, I think if it was
just
hold on
earlier going off on the Champions League about a handball not called and coming out and saying all these things, and now he's like, oh no, the right call was made.
No, he didn't say the right call.
Like, you go from 4 days later, you completely turn the tide.
He didn't say
really evident on how he's doing.
He didn't say right call. Well, one he could say, I mean, like it's a foul, right? So he said, but that's not actually what he said. And I think this is where media literacy is lack of it is ruining people because he dropped a Jose Mourinho backhanded compliment, except he's not Jose Mourinho, so no one took it that way. He said specifically, well, it's that VAR. It's a very hard job. So yes. And I was like, ha ha. But that's a backhanded. No, Ferris, you're not listening.
That's
wait, Ferris, wait, hold on. No. You're not listening. That's a backhanded compliment. He's not compliment. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's like, VAR, it's hard.
He's not, I don't know.
Dude, because he certainly didn't say those are the best refs. That's not what he said. I'm like, no, what he said was,
no, it's the manager that's got fined 1,000 times.
VAR.
That is saying that, and the call went his way that time. That's why he's saying that.
Here's the thing though, man. And look, I don't have any feelings one way or another about Arteta, except for he might keep Man City from winning the league, in which case I love him for that. There's a theme in my thinking on this whole thing. But I don't think you can say, well, 4 days ago he didn't like the ref and now he does like the ref. That's hypocrisy. That's like me saying I didn't like my lunch 4 days ago, but I liked it today.
And it would need to be the same call. Like it would need to be
the ref, the ref. VAR.
I mean,
right?
Yeah. But him saying that they got the call right doesn't mean that he likes VAR.
Right.
Yeah.
But
he just says,
hey, you know what? Listen, VAR once again made a call. This time it in our way. Great. He didn't come out and say that. Instead, he tried to do whatever Blake said, some kind of slide backhand bullshit, skullduggery stuff, and have his team try to kick the ball out of bounds, throw extra fouls, do the dark arts against a team that's 17th in the league. No. Instead, he came out and he did it that way.
Let me ask you this, though.
People don't like him.
If you were if Man United was in a tight title race, you were number one.
You dreaming in?
I know, it's imagine if you would a time, and you were playing against, a 17th place Tottenham. Would you be like, well, they're 17th, so I'm not going to go all in like I usually do. I'm not going to play as hard as I normally do.
No.
Because I don't think West Ham being 17th has anything to do with it.
I'm not saying that. I'd like to think that a Michael Carrick team, because that's the manager there, is not going to go doing the same things, and he's not going to come out and say those type of comments after a game like this. And I think there's a different way of going about it. And yes, Jose Mourinho, we can talk Jose Mourinho. We laugh at a lot of the things that he says. He has many more years, much more clout. And we all know he's a clown when it comes down to press conferences.
Yeah. Maybe the new manager of Real Madrid. We can't get a confirmation.
But I think what Arteta hasn't built that credit up as a manager because of how he's acted on the sidelines, because how he's gone about the seasons, because the past few seasons he has bottled leads in the past. We'll see what this one does. It doesn't look like that for at least the Premier League. And I just don't think a lot of people like how he goes about it. I certainly don't like how he goes about the team. Can he set up a team? Can he get the players in? Yes, I think that has a lot to do with who was your ex-GM person that's now for us?
Edu.
Edu. I think that has a lot to do with him. I think he was massive in that.
Let me ask this,
the same way that Gill was with Sir Alex way back when. But I don't think he's a bad manager at all. And I think this season he's been very not what's what I'm trying to find pragmatic. That's not the word, but on how he's gone about his games and how he set up his teams to get a lot of these 1-0 draws, a lot of these 2-0 just to get points from games. Mm-hmm. I think he's looked at the past seasons and has almost altered how those seasons have gone and how he's approached them. I think at times he's approached some games a little too passive and a little too shy. But that Man City game that they lost, that you all lost a few weeks ago, that was not the case. Like, they went for it. So I think he's changed over the past few years. And I think even in a lot of his press conferences throughout the year, he's done much better than he has in most seasons of coming out. But on these last few games, when the season's down to the end of it, he's been squirrely in these things. And you can see it on the sideline from him, and you can see it in press conferences on how he goes about it. Because he was not this way at the beginning of the season. And I think what that takes is kind of a calm, Pep hasn't really changed any sort of his rhetoric throughout the entire season. You don't see him doing those things. It's Pep all the way. Arteta just seems like he just plays off of such of the ocean of it that it shows. And in the past few seasons, his teams have bottled it because of that. And it's teetering now, but I do think Arsenal will get through in the league. but it's certainly showing once again, and that's why people have brought it up once again.
Well, I know that's why Tony hated Jurgen Klopp. He was so emotional.
you beat me to it. You beat me to it. Honestly, and because when you were saying that, I was thinking, people used to get on Jurgen Klopp all the time because he would get frustrated on the sidelines or he'd throw his hands in the air and sometimes say things that they're like, well, that's not classy. You got to keep your cool as a manager. And honestly, as a fan, I love that it felt like he was as invested as I am. And I loved that. So an honest question I would ask to Blake or to any other Arsenal fans that I could speak to is, do you feel like, are you upset saying, well, Arteta keeps bottling this because he's too emotional? Or is that just something that outsiders keep saying about him? Because I don't know if you know this, Blake is an Arsenal fan, and I've never heard Blake once complain about that.
Oh no, the emotion. That's not why. The team has changed.
I'm not saying that's exactly why, but it certainly played. It certainly played a factor, and it's been talked about on. I mean, not just this rinkety dink show that we do, but national broadcast and national podcast and worldly podcast and all of these things.
But by Arsenal fans on those podcasts,
by people that talk the sport in general, by people that have played the game, professionals, much more.
Yeah, we can talk about Gary Neville here in a second.
For me, I'll just say me.
We can talk about Gary Neville. No, because this is the thing that makes me effing nuts as an Arsenal fan. Now I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Us against the world. That's fine. Because maybe it's time to get rid of Wenger. You guys aren't getting back in the Champions League. Something is off there. They make the choice. We're floundering. It's not quite working with Unai. It's not working with the follow-up. So then he comes in and all of a sudden we're into semifinals twice, into a final for the Champions League. Yes, several times ending second in the Premier League, but a huge leap over where it was. But all I heard people go, quit trying to play such pretty football. Just win any way you can. That's why they can't do that. That's why they can't do this. That's why Arteta sucks and he should go. And then this year everyone's like, whoa. What's with the game management? What's with the time management? What's with trying to score on corners any which way you can? What's with being harsh in the box? Why don't you play some pretty football, you a-holes? It's like, you guys all suck. Gary literally calls up, because Arteta, the biggest change in Arteta, I'll tell you, he pulled in Zubamende in this match. He was not good. He subbed him in and then subbed him back out.
Yeah, he hasn't started the past few games.
So he subs him in, sees the persona. Neville is like, see, that's poor player management. That's just stupid. You have to that's going to ruin the player. Shut up, dude. What are you talking about? It's time to win a game. Because also
in 3 you do that. Maybe in week 3 you
get him. Sure. But if Zubamende had stayed
about don't play what's his name in goal, and why did Arteta play him and all of that, and why
But yes. So that I think that was a mistake, and so pulling in Zubamende, and then
but that's where that comment's coming in, and I did just say moments ago, you can rewind the tape, that I think Arteta's approached this season in a much different way because he's learned from the past 2 seasons. So I don't agree with what exactly you're saying and the rhetoric of that, but I do think to have the season almost end with this huge VAR call is a summation of the season and the state of the league right now. Not the state of Arsenal, the state of the league right now. That it can 2 games out, this VAR call could have huge consequences to West Ham's future and the future of the title.
That's cool. You know what? West Ham, be better. Win another match or 2. It's their fault.
But it's also you know what? They're trying to scrap and stay alive just as much as Arsenal's trying to scrap and win the title. So it is a massive call, and there's a lot of points that have been talked about all season. One of those being VARs, one of those being corners, one of those being the grabbing, holding, pulling, crowding the goalkeeper around corners. All of those have been talked about all season. So for it to come in this match with 2 games left is why this is such a huge, and has been over the past.
So is it inconsistent? Because there are stats that are so the season so far has seen 146 fouls on goalkeepers. So if that's a high point in recent years, aren't they making these calls then? If that's high?
Well, again, we all start off saying we agree. It's the call was correct.
No, but I just mean like the arguments are about, and I join in when I hear you say it's inconsistent. Like my gut wants to say, yeah, man, VAR has been always, but I'm like, I just put up the stat literally. And I'm like, oh, well, if we're high with goalkeeper,
it's
like,
yeah, but it's inconsistent from the fact that, okay, so if I'm a player, I'm now thinking it's okay to bear hug a player and move him 4 feet because I'm not going to get called for it. But the moment I even touch a goalkeeper's arms, it's going to be a foul. If that's where that line's drawn, then stick with it. But that's not what has shown all season long.
Yeah, you know what it reminds me of?
And like the Pride game tonight, the Pride, we got a pen from a corner. I don't understand how we got a pen, but I think that call
players were surprised we got
yes, but I thought that call was looking at all of the talking points from Sunday and that getting into the minds of, we won't go too far off the beaten path with that game, but the VAR and ref that was on the field for that game. So I think it does have what is allowed on corners. Because as far as I know, on Sunday league, I played in a league on Sunday. The guy had his arms around me. Do you know what I did? I grabbed his 2 arms and I pushed them down and then moved and used his body weight to push him kind of in front of me and around. But he's wrapped around me, giving me a hug. I don't know this guy. I'm just playing Sunday league, beer league. And he's doing it to me. That's what they're doing out there. We talked about it when Arsenal played Chelsea, and it's not just Arsenal. All the teams do this. Everton do it just as bad as well. If you ever watched any of their games between the Brathwaites and all those in the box, they're Harry Maguire does the same on corners, bear hugs people. Why his big ass needs to bear hug I would love for him to bear hug me. I just don't want it to happen in a game. But everybody does it. So clearly the players are thinking that's okay to do. Yeah. Clearly the VAR is thinking, oh, this bear hug there, that bear hug there, that bear hug there are all fine. And the players seem to think it's okay. But the minute the goalie's touched and the arm, if you want to go with that, then that's going to be a pen. If that's what's coming out of the PGMOL, FF, QQPTT and them, then got to come out and you got to say that so that people understand what that is. Or you got to start to call pens. You got to start to do these things to help retrain the brains of the players, because we all know the players will try to get any advantage that they can on the field, from diving to this to covering their mouths, when they talk, that sort of stuff. They're going to do that. So until the governing body of sorts comes out and either has a new law against it, says this is how it's going to go.
I don't think you can do that.
The refs going game.
Did you?
They do, but
no. But I mean, I think because of the one rule, and Tony, you got to jump in because you tried to say something earlier. I want to know what it was, but because nothing is called before the ball is in play, I think that's the biggest rule that has to change. Because that means since they're all, and we talked about this a few pods ago, they're all jostling and stuff that, of course, I could see being like, where was the ball? Okay, I'm just going to deal with this right here because technically, was that right when the ball was kicked? Did they stop? That I think you would have to make a new rule that one of the proposals was like everyone's 6 yards, whatever. There was some kind of thing where you basically the ball's kicked and then you can come in, right? Kind of.
Is that like the thing I'm seeing at rock concerts now, where it's no longer just like the pit? The pit splits down the center and then they rush and they smash into each other. That's like that on a corner.
I saw something else that is, you can't move until the whistle's blown. Like you have to be flat-footed.
Oh, that's a fun.
Yeah, that's kind of a play on that, basically.
Yeah. So you can be in the box, but you have to find your position and then you're flat-footed until the whistle's blown. Is another option, because I think either way we're having this discussion because the style of play has changed as it does in the sport, and now refs have to trying to show some grace to refs. I need to drink more for that. showing some grace to refs. They need to catch up when the style of play changes. They need to be like, okay, how do we handle this? And I think that's why we're seeing like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on the thing that directly affects the ball. I saw the goalkeeper's arm grab. That's an easy thing for me to call.
Yeah, you can feel like this is a mess.
Instead of being like, he's bear hugging him, but then that guy he was bear hugging was also grabbing the guy in front of him. And which one do I call? Do I call all of them? Do I just give all these chuckleheads a yellow card? Like, what do I do? And I think it's an easy, you know what? I'm just going to go for the one directly affecting the ball.
Yeah, but refs will get certain directives going into games, right?
Yeah.
Watch for the hands here. Watch, in terms of other sports, basketball, watch for the hand checks. Watch for that sort of thing. We haven't heard the refs being told anything on this. We know that it happens with offside rule. We know that those sort of things change, and they brief the clubs on it and all of that. And that happens a lot at the beginning of the season. But how much does that happen throughout the season that, hey, we're noticing this trend. We need to break this type of trend.
Yeah. We're
not really told that a whole lot. That I can't think of the guy's name that's ahead of PGMOL, bald guy. But
they're all bald guys.
I was just saying they're all bald guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember when they started the season with
him? He's coming out and he's releasing audio and doing all these things. But have you directed the on-fields to do anything different, or have you said,
I think that's a rule
change are happening? We need to get away from.
I don't think they can enforce it. I think that's what we're saying is that since it's nothing called prior to the ball kicking, it's so insane. You just wouldn't. You'd never have a corner. You'd never get like. And then even then, how do I parse this? Was it you? Was it them? Was it this team? Is it a goal kick? Is it what? Where are we at right now? Like,
there's and this might be taking us too far out. But hey, I'm new here, so that's what's going to happen. I think this is old man Tony talk here, your new segment. But I think this ties into the relitigating what the offside rule is every damn year. At a certain point, it needs to not be a mathematical, it's this or it's this. It needs to be spirit of the rule. And of this whole mess in here, what was actually affecting the fairness of the play. And I think offside should work like that as well.
I agree.
The toenail off isn't giving you an advantage, but 3 steps off is giving you an advantage.
Right. I agree.
Tugging and jostling might not giving an advantage, but grabbing an arm and pulling it down is definitely an advantage. I'm going to call that. And that, I think it needs to go back to the spirit of the rule of who is actually getting an advantage or disadvantage because of a foul. And that's when we're going to call it.
Yeah. In the age of analytics, though, it's so hard to determine that and to write that down and to kind of give that directives.
I know. It's ruining baseball too. I can go on a whole other tangent about how I like that it was all the things that people complain about baseball of where is the strike zone. I like that it's vibe checks.
2021 World Series.
I like that it was umpire gives a vibe check. You could have hit that. I'm going to call it a strike.
But can I ask?
The analytics, I pull him. No, you keep his butt in.
But
the vibe tells me he's pitching darn good against the Dodgers. You keep him in.
I understand why. Obviously, this was top of table and bottom table, huge implications. So I understand why there's a ton of conversation. What I don't understand though is a ton of like, Arsenal. They just cheat. They're getting the league handed to them. Yap. Where's the up in arms, angry inconsistency about that Everton Man City match? Everton should have had a penalty. And in the Burnley match prior to that, there were missed calls against Man City that were atrocious. And so I guess what I don't understand is like, of the two teams, there's only one who I know has 115 charges of cheating. I don't understand.
But that's what we're talking about.
But we're not though. That's the thing. Like the pundits are like, well, it's like the Man City matches didn't happen. And that Everton, like, David Moyes was furious. Should he not be? Is that being too much like Arteta?
That's the inconsistency of just VAR and the rules, in general. I think specific to this season and the time of year that we're in because of the events of this season. That's why this is being highlighted even more with the corners, with the crowding of the goalkeeper, with the tugging and pulling, with the VAR call. All of these things we've talked about week in and week out, right? We all know, hey, that should have been a penalty here. Maybe that should have been a penalty there. And every team has one of those stories of this should have been a pen here and there. And in a way, that self-places itself because it kind of plays out throughout the season.
Well, this is true.
He pulled a hair tie. Like it just,
I knew
like,
this would come up,
but
so I brought receipts. If you remove all the VAR calls out of the season, Arsenal still is 1, Man City is 2, Man United is 3. Brighton goes up
nobody argues that.
to 4. No, I'm just saying if you remove the VAR calls entirely, like it's not.
I don't think that's the standings are going to change at all. To be honest with you, I highly doubt they do.
I don't know if you ask the really intelligent people in the internet comments section, they act like if it weren't for VAR, Arsenal would be 18th. You know?
Yeah.
No, if there were no
absurd.
VAR, it would be closer, but Arsenal would still be number 1. And Bournemouth would for sure be going to the Champions League. That's what Bournemouth and Brighton do the best. Liverpool falls the most. And
if Pickford had gotten a red for breaking Van Dijk's leg, then, whatever year,
Hey, listen, if the league started in January, Man United would be top of the table right now. Like,
Jordan Pickford.
It doesn't work that way.
Real quick, Jordan Pickford, if you're listening, go yourself. Sorry, Blake. I had to take my shot.
Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, I did start pulling some stats and things for. Would you like to know the fair play table as well? Because I've just been a jerk about this. I knew this was all going to come up.
I don't even know what that means. I have no clue what that means.
The fair play table is teams ranked first to last in most yellows and reds, straight reds, double yellows into reds, right?
Good. Okay.
Who do you think's number 1?
Oh,
who has the most?
Who has the least?
At least. Oh, hold on. All right, let's look at the table here. Hold on. Who's the nicest?
Who's the nicest? This is a fun game. Arsenal with 49 yellow cards. Who's second nicest?
Are you going to say Man City?
No, Liverpool with 54 yellow cards and 2 yellows into a red.
That's because they haven't cared enough this year to foul.
Third is Leeds. Fourth, Aston Villa. Fifth is Man City. Who do you think is the worst? You know this.
Man United.
No.
Oh.
Is it Chelsea? It's got to be Chelsea.
My God,
right?
it's Chelsea.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got somebody sent off every year.
They have 80 reds as they have wingers.
80 yellow cards. 3 yellows into reds. 4 straights. 7 double yellow. Yeah. It's not, yeah, they're like by far the worst. Guess, by the way, guys, and Ron's not here, so I'm going to say it. We'll get some early predictions in. Do you know who's next to worst to Chelsea for fair play table? Spurs, baby. And I'm just saying, my early call for negative Leicester's prediction next year is Chelsea in a relegation fight. You heard it here first.
Okay. Can I propose something as a humble guest? So you have your Leicester's prediction, which is a team outperforming or a player outperforming what you would expect. Can you make the opposite your Tottenham prediction?
No, I did. Well, no, we can next
from now on. If they get relegated from now on, you call it the Tottenham prediction. Who's going to underplay?
Yes. No. Great suggestion. That will be added to
Jason Blackwater if you listen.
So that's so Spursy prediction. Like, yeah.
Brilliant. Hit the whistle. Let's go to halftime. Brilliant.
On that good idea. Oh, I knew that was going to be a fun one.
It's in the comments.
We were missing Ron though. It's doing his little jabs with a knife under Ferris's like ribs though during that.
Oh
one.
Yeah,
like Ferris had a much nicer time.
My ribs certainly just appreciate it.
All right, well, on that fun note, let's go talk some more Reds and get over to Tony's managerial muster musings and talk about a little how things slot at Liverpool.
Oh, God. If I'm going to do this, I need more beer. Ferris, can you introduce our second beer that you are lovingly sharing with us?
Absolutely can. It's a beer I picked up a few weeks ago. A beer that was a collab from some people that we actually know and have worked many years with.
Yep.
Tony, we are going to have the Fish and Brits Big Ben British Best Bitter.
If we're advertising their pod, they got to advertise our pod next.
Brewing, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry. I cut you off there. What was who's the brewery they collaborated with?
Ivanhoe Park Brewing Company.
Which my sister used to be the taproom manager for, and my brother still works for them.
Yeah, and we actually got
tie-in.
when they opened up, they gave us they did like a pre-opening.
I
VIP
forgot
night or
about
whatever,
that.
and we were a part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very cool brewery in town. Awesome. And the Fish and Brits podcast done by Wayne and Adam. Wayne is a Liverpool fan.
Yep.
From the area.
From Liverpool himself.
Yes, he is. And Adam is an Arsenal fan. I can't remember where exactly
Nobody's perfect.
Nobody is perfect, but two awesome dudes that we've worked with.
Yeah, great lads.
Many years, and doing an awesome podcast. Again, their podcast is Fish and Brits. You can find it on Apple and Spotify and all that. And they did this collab with Ivanhoe Park, and it is I have had it. It is a darn good beer, and I picked up a 6-pack to support them and support Ivanhoe Park. So,
all right. Well,
thanks, lads.
I'm gonna have a sip of this, and then I'm gonna bring it.
What's the style again? Sorry.
Let me get us. Hold on. Let me get some pint glasses. It's a. If you want to read off the side of the can there, and I'll get us some glasses.
I've already put it in a koozie. Let me remove it from my koozie. All right. Fish and Brits is a very British podcast from very Floridian America, where we, Adam and Wayne, two British expats turned America residents, break down the strange things that happens on both sides of the pond, make sense of their lives as hey guys, I'm 42 this year. Make sense of their lives as Brits amongst USA locals and dust off their ever-failing memories of life in England. Each week, the lads plow through the green fields of England's peculiarities, answer questions about their lives, and unpack nuances of the British versus American culture class. I can't read.
You're American, not English, so you struggle with the language.
I couldn't read the accent. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pour this out.
That's pretty cool. I saw that. I'm very excited for them.
In one of like the pint glasses. Florida Beer Day was the other day, and you could pick up a customizable pint glass that has Florida Beer Day on it. Has a gator on it.
Oh, that's awesome!
It's a toll road down the street, and if you bought the glass, the first beer was on them. So
very good.
Florida Brewers Guild is where helped to support Florida Beer Day, which was last week.
That is quite good. It is bitter, just like my feelings.
It's one of the things I love is not only it is a beer that kind of shows a big style over there and where they're from and an homage to that, but a beer style you don't see a whole lot.
Yeah, you really don't, and I quite like it. Maybe not every day, but skull.
Sláinte.
Quite good. All right, I think I'm ready.
You know, it'd be good if it was in one of those pull drafts.
Oh yeah,
that's how you need it.
Absolutely.
Well done, lads.
Well done,
Wayne, Adam,
love you.
Fish and Brits,
love you
Ivanhoe
both.
Park. Thank you both very much.
All right, so on Saturday during Liverpool's home tie with Chelsea, Arne Slot heard a smattering of boos ring out in Anfield in the 67th minute of play as he subbed off teenage sensation Rio Ngoma for the $100 million man Alexander Isak. So I ask, is Slot in trouble this upcoming offseason?
I think
if they don't make Champions League, I think
if somebody like Bournemouth was able to make it happen, so they did not make Champions League, yes. I actually think the greater possibility is Aston Villa sliding to somebody like Bournemouth.
I agree.
So I think they'll make champions. I think
he's on a short leash.
I think did I say this a couple pods ago? My guess for Slot is December. Not like for sure he's out. That's probably where he's got to start with a good season next year. And I don't, Tony, what does that mean to you? I know with Liverpool, it's like the Man United, it's the big clubs. Like if you don't make Champions League, that's like the bare minimum. But is that how you feel? Do you think there's promise there to staying? Like the way that Ferris won't admit that Carrick should stay.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
No,
Don't
you didn't
put
say.
words in my mouth.
You
Don't
were
put
very
words in my mouth.
you were very
He's been hurt
cagey
before, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, you were very
know?
cagey about it. Yeah.
Hey, if you had gone through the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation,
sure,
you would also be a little trigger shy,
and you
so
guys,
I don't blame him for that at all.
And you have not bounced through managers, so.
Okay, so I'm kind of two minds on this, and I'm really kind of internally struggling, and maybe I'll find enlightenment speaking it out loud to everybody out there in podcast land, to all the grandmas. But
number one audience.
That was an assumption. I don't listen to your show, so I don't actually know that. But I'm somebody who's like, we got to stop firing managers every 6 months. That's stupid.
Yes.
That's
in the
stupid.
sport in general.
In the sport in
yes.
general.
Yeah.
And I
agreed.
So in that part of me says, let the man cook, let him go, let him build his team. But it is tough because there's clearly something not right in the locker room. The number of players that are leaving or have hinted at they feel kind of abandoned, or it was made very clear to them that the team is moving on from them.
And that is time. I don't feel like that's necessarily his fault. Like, teams change over time.
They do, but I don't know if I've ever seen players come out and be clearly kind of disenfranchised in that way. I think his bedside manner clearly isn't as good as Klopp's, but then again, Klopp was very good at, player relationship. That was something he was very good at, especially. And I think, everybody said last year, well, Slot just won with Klopp's team and it doesn't really count. And I could see what they're saying like that, but Klopp didn't win the year before, and I love Jurgen Klopp. I want to hang out with that man every day of my life. But the truth is he didn't win with that team. Slot won with the team the next year.
And it was the same team, really. I mean,
it was the same team. He was a little bit more conservative. He tidied up the defense a little bit. So I don't blame Slot in saying, I kind of want to rebuild this team in my image, but it is really hard when you have an emotional investment in these players, which, hey guys, that's why we watch sports, and I'm tired of people being like, well, you're being too emotional about Mo Salah. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm being emotional about Mo Salah. That's why I watch the sport, because I'm emotional about things. That's the fun of it. And it's going to break my heart to see him go. Same with Andy Robertson. And it hurt to see Trent leave, even though I understood why he left, and I'm not mad at him, and I'm a big defender of him leaving the way he did. But I think, look, there's a lot of talent on that field. We have a lot of injuries, but even despite that, even before a lot of those injuries or without a lot of those, I think there's enough talent there. They aren't connecting. They don't have chemistry. They don't seem to understand a plan, and that is him to figure out. I want him to figure it out. I don't want us to just start the cycle of manager after manager after manager, hoping the next guy figures it out. I want Slot to figure it out.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
He's the one got to do it, man.
I don't know the Premier League's in a spot anymore where you can just say, I got a job at a top 4 place. Don't worry, I know we'll come in top 4. Premier League's changing a bit. I mean, guys, look at Bournemouth. Good God. I mean, we have said it, but I don't know we've given enough credit to like what they're doing right now. I mean, like, and even though Villa is slipping, my goodness, for what they are, they're still doing amazing. And there are other teams like Liverpool below them that, or not below them, but right there neck and neck with them that shouldn't be, how it is, quote unquote. Like, it's, I don't know that you can just walk in and do that anymore.
Can you imagine a world where, both you guys have teams that had long storied managers. Can you imagine if after winning a Premier League or a Champions League, the next year, if they didn't win anything, then being like, you know what, this Sir Alex guy, he's out,
Well,
or Arsene Wenger,
It's famously said that SirAlex wouldn't have kept his job in the modern day back in.
It's same with
90s.
Arsene Wenger,
right? Which is 100% fair to say for both. I think with Slot, to win the Premier League as soon as Klopp left, just crazy, right? Yes, you could say it was Klopp's team, and in a way it was. It was a very, and I've said it on the pod before, a very, after Tony Dungy, Bucks team, with
Chucky Gruden.
Yeah, with
or Pochettino with Grega's team. I'm holding out hope.
Yeah.
I'm manifesting it.
I'm
manifesting it.
Keep drinking, my friend. No, but I think he comes under because now his imprint's going to be on the team. Is no longer Klopp's team, and it's $200 million worth of a team that under his head coachness, leadership, that manager role. Does it mean the same thing as it did back then? I don't think it does. But does he know what he's doing to set it up in his own team to keep this team as successful? And right now, that's where I think it's wavered, because you signed all these players. They haven't quite clicked the way that it should have. But you've made good calls.
I'm going to say Wirtz has been a bust
so far. I think Wirtz is going to come good next year. But he's made good calls from a Gravenberch to come back into the team and put him in midfield. I thought he was brilliant last season.
That's great.
I thought he did great. Gakpo, I know a lot of Liverpool fans. I don't mind Gakpo, but I don't know if he's playing him right, and I don't.
He's not a starter. Gakpo is not a starter. I'm sorry, Gakpo is not a starter.
But is he not a starter after Edetike came in or before Edetike came in?
Both. I don't think he was a starter in Klopp's team. I don't think he just doesn't. He doesn't click. I don't think he's creative enough. I don't think his footwork is quite good enough. Sorry, Gakpo, if you listen to this podcast, maybe you should be practicing and not listening to this podcast. He's just not doing it. And Arnie, I'd say the biggest things that I really hold on Slot and I go, man, you got to fix this. Stop trying to make Gakpo happen, man. It's not going to happen. And I don't know.
But also, why are you trying to make it happen when you've spent so much money on? I know Isaac was hurt.
I don't know, man, because they're both Dutch.
Right. Fair. Well, and that's the thing, right? Is he's making these decisions to impose that he can make those decisions, right? The whole Salah has not been great this year.
I have strong feelings about people saying that.
But hold on. But you've alienated 90% of the Liverpool fan base because you've now benched him and because you haven't backed him and because you haven't necessarily said good things about somebody that is going to probably have a statue outside of that stadium one day, right? That's a big part of it too, is you've already pissed off the fans by just doing that. Now, we can conjecture all day long, was it the right call? Was it not the right call? When do legends of clubs start to die and you have to kind of bench them? That whole thing. But still, you do that after he was a worldly player last season.
Yeah. And that's why I say he wasn't like a legend, going off to pasture. He was still amazing last year. And the club said, we're all in on you. We are all in on Mo. We want you to stay here. And he said, great, I want to stay here. This is my home. My kids are Scousers. He has said that multiple times. This Egyptian man who came to this team said, my kids are Scousers. He loves that city. He wants to be there. And they said, we want you here. You're our guy. Except for we're also going to sign Florian Wirtz. We're also going to bring in Isak. And we're also going to try to start Gakpo all the time over you. And
if it was one of those players, it'd be one thing, right? Because you got to get the future, right?
Yeah.
It really was.
And you have to spread out. Otherwise, they're just going to triple team Salah and you're done. Obviously.
Yeah.
But they did all of them. And here's the thing. I get really annoyed. I get really defensive of my boy Mo. Mo, if you're listening, I love you. That people say I don't like him because he doesn't play any defense. But when he says, all right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to play more defense, they say he's not scoring any goals. And he's like, all right, I'm going to stay forward and I'm going to try to score goals. And they say, look how lazy he is. He doesn't play defense. And he's like, he tries to get. He'll go for assists. Here's the thing. Here's my favorite thing about Mo Salah. The years that he was in the running for Golden Boot, he was also in the running for most assists. Mm-hmm. And you don't usually see that with star forwards. They usually say, I'm the goal scorer. He wants Liverpool to score. And if he has to do it, he'll do it. If it has to be Gakpo, if it has to be Trent, if it has to be McAllister, if it whoever it has to be in his tenure there, he just wanted the goal to be scored. Not saying he's never been selfish. Every player is sometimes selfish.
Isn't it funny the difference between like football pundits and like some of the sports over here? You just made me think of Michael Jordan. When Michael Jordan was playing at the Wizards, it was like, man, he's not scoring like he used to, but God, his assists are through the roof.
Yeah.
And people praised him for it.
Yeah, and it should be that way.
It was also the Wizards.
It's sure, but I'm just saying, like, but
congratulations for your number one pick.
I would say the biggest mistakes we have made this year, and I don't know how much of this is on Arnie Slot, how much of this is the front office.
Yeah, I agree that we don't know that. That's the problem.
Sure.
Wirtz has been a bust this season. He clearly has a lot of talent.
But I think it was a position that you didn't need, so I didn't mind the signing at the time.
It was weird, though. He isn't fitting, but nobody would have predicted that. And he oddly still plays great when he plays for Germany. So I'm curious why isn't he fitting into Liverpool? And that's Slot's job to figure out.
I agree. I don't think he's the centerpiece in this team, where at Bayer Leverkusen, he was a centerpiece. He was the playmaker. He was the creator. He was the centerpiece.
I think I text you. We could find the receipts if you want to scroll back 8 months. I think I text you guys when we signed Isak. I said, this is a bad idea.
Well, it didn't. It was a funky situation. It was a ton of money.
It was too much money. And I remember, so
he held out and
my sweet fiance, Caitlin, Newcastle fan. And, she was getting frustrated with him. She's like, just take him. Cause he was like, I'm going to get signed to Liverpool. I'm not going to play for Newcastle. And as soon as he did that, I said, we better not sign him.
As soon as he said
that's somebody toxic in a locker room.
I was going to say,
he went on the strike and he did. Yeah.
As soon as he said that, he should have become toxic to any Premier League football club.
And we signed him anyway.
Especially at that price value.
Yeah. And he was not worth that much.
He's
not worth that much.
No, and you could have spent...
He wasn't even the best player on Newcastle.
And you could have spent 35, 40,
Trippier's
50.
The best player on Newcastle, and I will stick by that.
Agreed. But you could have spent 50 mil on Gahey and
absolutely
partnered with Van Dijk. Oh, my God.
Van Dijk,
crazy center back.
People are saying Van Dijk's getting slow. It's like, no, Van Dijk has no help.
Yeah,
Van Dijk has no help.
Yeah.
He's kept there by himself. And yeah, some balls are going to get past him. He can't stop everything. He stops a hell of a lot considering he is often on his own. We have Kanate, who is hot and cold, and
he's in his own world. Like a lot of time.
When he's on, man, he is high up there. But when he's off, he's a big mess.
I just think
he kind of needs Van Dijk to kind of ring him in and keep him in play.
I think what you said though, because we don't not that we truly understand a lot of managers have said things at other clubs and pasta fajul. There we go. Peek behind the curtain at the Spurs situation, stuff like that. And you kind of go, okay, there's some obviously problems at the front office and I don't like it's Slot's team, but it's still very much a lot of the previous team. I don't know what the front office situation is with Slot. I don't. I do hope that they genuinely give him a shot through December, because I agree the merry-go-round thing that have been happening. And I have an interesting question to posit you.
Mm-hmm.
Now Forrest has survived, but like it looked iffy. Spurs, big question mark. West Ham, big question mark. Chelsea looked like they could be Spurs for next year. It is the is the clubs that had a detriment of merry-go-round managers. Does that change things a little bit for clubs? It's say the beginning half of this next season, because you've seen the well, God, I don't want to do that. I brought up like a week or two ago, people were like, oh, if Arsenal doesn't win this year, you got to get rid of Arteta. Like, no, you don't. Have we seen Chelsea? Like, I'm not saying, look, sure, if you want to say the same thing in a few, but come on, man. This merry-go-round thing that other clubs are doing and dropping like rocks in the standings. I mean, Man United, like you guys are right back up there. Like, I hope it's not a fool's gold thing, but like that Carrick is an answer and can hold on to. But like, I wonder if you're sitting there at Liverpool and you're the front office and you're looking at these other clubs having these situations.
That's the thing, though. It's the front. You have to have a corresponding front office.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Aren't aligned. And you have people that don't know how to manage that business, i.e. Chelsea.
Yeah.
You're going to filter through manager after manager.
He has a great record on Xbox.
Sure.
And that's how he plays. That's how he runs that team.
And he may run American sports just great, which is what we're seeing with 6.5-year contracts and all of that. But, and they're just an example. If you don't have that infrastructure of a front office, and I said it earlier, David Gill with in United. He was just as instrumental as Fergie was in those golden years of what Man United was from the late 1990s to the early 2000s. By far. Because what the Glazers actually did at that time, and at least in the early on, is they hired the people, they got out of the way. Or the people were already in place, they got out of the way. They were the bank, they got out of the way, let the football people do the football things. You let your experts do the things that you can. It comes just as much as that as it does when you're changing over these managers to managers. It's the front office, to use a U.S. term. It's the front office of these teams that if that's chaotic, there's no order to that. If they don't know what the vision is, where they're going, what recruitment's like, what the academy is going to be, yada, 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 and they're all over the place, then they're going to sway with the tide to figure out who the next manager is or who the next head coach or what even they're called is. Because nowadays we don't know what they're called. Are they a head coach or are they a manager?
Well,
because managers used to be really responsible for bringing in the players. Now head coaches, you just coach the team that's in front of you.
It varies greatly between club to club. Yeah.
I'll wrap my thoughts on Slot on this, and it kind of ties in with all that other stuff. And I hate to use this cliche, but you got to build a culture. And Klopp came in and built a culture, and that's why even when they would have a couple seasons where they were kind of mid-table, we were still okay because we liked the culture that was being built. And right now, be it Slot, be it the front office, I don't know what culture they are trying to build there, but it doesn't feel like a family. And I know that sounds really lame.
Nope, but I agree with you.
But that's what made Liverpool special, and that's why everybody you guys have said it yourselves. You're not Liverpool fans, but you love Jurgen Klopp. It's because of that culture that he wants to bring, that passion, and I don't know what culture they're bringing now. To answer the question that was posed, is Slot in trouble this offseason? I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say he's not in trouble in December either. And I'm going to say the reason is because I don't think the Henrys care anymore.
Oh,
I just think the Henrys don't care anymore, and I don't think they care about sports in general. I'm also a Red Sox fan. They don't care. They clearly don't care anymore.
And the managerial muster musing was on fire.
That's what I got.
What's the next one? Hold on.
I'm saying this leads in perfectly to the next one. Speaking of a hot freaking mess.
Oh, God. Glad to talk about somebody else. Ron, I love you, buddy. Hope you're feeling better. All right. Xavi to Chelsea. All right. Fresh reports from David Ornstein out of London yesterday. It's currently Tuesday when we're recording. Fresh reports out of London yesterday suggest that Chelsea Football Club are exploring a deal to appoint former Liverpool player Bayern Leverkusen and Real Madrid manager Xavi Alonso to their new head coach. So I ask, what do you make of this news?
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Exactly. It don't matter. It's not going to be him.
Based on what we just talked about, if it's the same people hiring the manager who hired whoever the hell's in charge now as interim, whoever Rosenier was hired by, who was before him. God, what's the guy that was with Leicester City? What was his name? Blank. We all just blanked.
Jeez.
He was in charge at the beginning of the season. He won them a FIFA Club World Cup that unlocked the key to the magical.
Not too cool. Thomas Frank.
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, no. Maresca. Jeez. Maresca.
Yes,
so
Maresca.
many managers.
I want to say Thomas Frank. No. Shoot. What was the one he said before that?
Tuchel
was before that. And then
he won the Champions League, by the way. Right? Mind you,
Chelsea has had more managers than I've had doctors'
Frank Lampard
appointments.
was in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're right. I don't know if this is actually going to matter because are the people as the front office what we were just talking about?
We're not even trying to be funny
and hire them and then get out the way.
And to a point that you guys have made multiple times in the podcast with, are they going to fire their manager? And they ended up doing it, but with a few different teams. But who would go there to that? Why would Xavi Alonso, a new-ish, quote-unquote, manager, why would he want to mark his resume as being, 0 for 14, between draws and losses at Chelsea for something that is not his fault, right? Why would he want to mark his resume like that? I would stay where he is and wait for Liverpool to call. Eventually.
Look, guys, I'm telling you, relegation fight. Big Sam Allardyce comes in at the very end of the season to say through that.
I don't even know if he would take it at this point.
No, and then he the very next day goes to the books, puts a bets on him to win the Premier League, and then gets sacked.
Yeah,
That'll be what Big Sam does.
Great.
And I will love every moment of that.
Greg Berhalter for manager of Chelsea.
We can. Well, no, but in all seriousness, we can laugh at anybody that goes in there.
It doesn't matter.
But what does it matter?
You have a player manager.
If you have Blueco over this team, are they going to hire the people that should then hire the head coach to properly move this club forward? Whether that's with proper recruiting, proper academy style, proper formation of play in terms of what you do want to play, style of play, yada yada.
Build a damn culture. Like I hate to repeat myself, but build a damn. What is your culture at Chelsea?
And that's what they need. Absolutely.
What are you?
To quote Carl from the great Aquitaine Hunger Force, none of this matters. It don't matter. None of this matters. Nothing that we're doing matters.
It doesn't. I feel for Ron week in, week out with this, because it's like, what are you doing? What are you supposed to do?
He's literally asking the same question he did. I was going to say at the beginning of the season, but I think it was last year. And hey, what about Mudryk? Remember when Arsenal was in a bidding war for Mudryk?
Oh, we don't even want to get into that. Yeah. There's been articles. He's practicing. Oh man, go to the Athletic and just type his name in. There's been some great articles that is about him. Like he's doing training at like a 4th tier club somewhere in London, and his ban just got upheld. He's 4 years.
4-year ban.
The largest bid. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be off all day. Let's.
Homie just got into the Premier League and was like fought over. Boy, that news came out again. I'm like, every time I hear Mudryk,
Arsenal dodged the bullet on that one.
Hey,
you were Keanu Reeves on that one.
Yeah. Can I break the rules in improv here? As a guest, even though it's going to make us run long. Is Eddie Howe in trouble?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because that's okay. If I was Xabi Alonso, that's where I'd rather go than at Chelsea.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. And to answer your question, I think he is, because I think he's at that point to where he was with Bournemouth, where Newcastle.
And I love Eddie Howe
in a little bit of a rut. Now, again,
Eddie Howe, come to Orlando.
I think it's 100%. I think it's a bit of a case of a slot in terms of Newcastle won their first bit of silverware, and you can't name me how long prior to that last season.
Yeah.
So he's running off of that high a little bit, where Slot obviously won the Premier League last season, is running off that high. So I think like Slot, you're going to get up until December of next year to see if that position of 13th where they are right now, if that improves any. Because the Newcastle is a good enough team with good enough players that should be in the top end of the table. And
Trippier is one of the best players in the Premier League, and I don't think he gets enough credit.
I think he was at one point. I think
he still is in a better team.
Gilmaresh is great. Tonali when he's not betting. Dan Burn when he's not punching people.
But they have good players. But yeah, I know, I agree. I think Slot is, or Howe is in the same predicament for me as Slot. Like, they're going to have until December of next year to kind of show them, hey, is this going to become a trend with you, or are we going to kind of break out of this?
Or is this just
what we thought what you thought you were when we hired you?
And I don't want to disrespect him, because I do like Eddie Howe quite a bit, but is this sort of kind of like Greg Gaga? Is this sort of like his peak? Like, is this sort of like, you can only get this far, and that's great because we needed somebody to get us this far, but now you're not going to ever get us to the next step.
All I got to say is literally, it was a Chelsea topic. We said it doesn't matter, and we went on to Newcastle, which wasn't even in the list to talk about. That is how much, to loop it back around before we move on, the Xabi Alonso news literally means nothing. And I think most Chelsea fans, I wish Ron was here for this, would agree. I mean,
managers are set up to fail there.
I don't think it matters.
Chelsea, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that's my when Leicester's just non-Leicester's or that's so Spursy early.
Love that. That's
prediction is that they're fighting like Spurs are. That's a mighty fine halftime with our guest host Tony.
Can this season please be over already?
Today. It's in the count right now. Let's do it.
I want it to be done.
Hell yeah. All right, let's get us out of halftime and back to Ferris for the La Liga's roundup.
All right. Well, I'm only going to hang on to it for a little bit because I'm going to go up north, over the pond, to our Scottish correspondent, Blake McDonald.
Do we need to have more LaFoy for that?
Why not?
Lads, pour another dram of that tasty Irish Scotch because it's currently squeaky bum time. It is squeaky bum time for sure up in the glorious old Scotland. And isn't it funny that the legendary manager himself, Sir Alex Ferguson, coined that phrase? And isn't it even more funnier that he was the last manager in the dugout, the last time another team other than Celtic or Rangers won the Scottish Premiership a mere 31 years ago? And this weekend, that phrase came full into play as Saturday League leaders Hearts could only muster near but a 1-1 draw with fourth place Motherwell. Then on Sunday, the biggest Old Firm derby of the season kicked off at Celtic Park, and the following, a lovely 1-1 draw. Celtic and mainly Dyson made a kick and bicycle kicked his way into Celtic folklore with a second half brace and one hell of a worldly bicycle kick. Not like the one in the Premier League that broke someone's face, but moving on, which not only knocked their fierce rivals Rangers out of contention, but could also see the mighty Celtic nick the Scottish Premiership, which had but a mere 2 wins left. Now, one of those wins will need to come over current first place Hearts on the last day of the Premiership. So now, with just a 1-point lead for Hearts, we ask, will Celtic win yet another Scottish Premiership?
The Catholic in me says yes. The I haven't been to church in a long time says no because I really want Hearts to. I want to see some other team win it.
Yeah,
and the
neutrals in Scotland agree with you, by the way, overwhelmingly. Of course they do.
It's going to come down to mentality, I think, because it's going to be hard for any team in this situation, in this case Hearts, but this could be any league in the world, to not feel like, all right, well, here we go again. I guess Barcelona's going to win it again this year, or I guess Bayern's going to win it again this year, or I guess in this case Celtic. Like it's hard. It's going to be hard not to feel that way going into this match.
Do you know what I did not realize?
What didn't you realize?
Round 37. One of those two games is being played tomorrow.
Oh,
they were being played today. Tomorrow, Hearts will play Falkirk.
Yeah, they play Falkirk.
Last in that top. Do you remember we were talking about like the championship table?
Yep.
Was the top there? Falkirk is 6th.
Yeah.
So in theory, I think it's at Hearts. Yes, it's at Hearts. Hearts should win that one, right? Motherwell plays Celtic. Now, Motherwell are 4th and just tied with Hearts. Not an easy one, and it's at Motherwell. Rangers, Hibernian, which no longer matter because neither of them can necessarily impact the title at all, also play. So tomorrow is going to be a big day as well. But then, man, is it this weekend? Sure is this weekend. My ass is going to be up at 7:30 a.m. because I want to watch Celtic and Hearts. It should be on either CBS Sports Network or Paramount Plus. It's where I watched the Old Firm this past week. But at 7:30, they all play at the same time. So all those teams that are in that
Paramount
top
Plus
group,
Paramount Plus,
yes,
for sure.
All those teams that play in that top championship group play at 7:30 a.m. Celtic play Hearts, Falkirk play Rangers, Hibernian plays Motherwell. The only one that will truly matter is Celtic at Hearts. Now, in theory, if I'm not mistaken, if I say Hearts win tomorrow, that puts them on 80 points. If Celtic lose tomorrow somehow to Motherwell, the title's over.
It's over.
And Hearts will celebrate that game, win, lose, or draw. Champions of the Scottish Premiership. And hopefully, by the way, the game's at Celtic Park on Saturday.
That's a
Very
big ask. That is a
very
tall ask to beat Celtic at Celtic Park.
But hopefully, Ron and I's order will be in by then. We did order Hearts kits. He ordered a Heart shirt and kit. I wanted a chalice, but it's too fragile to ship overseas. And that was an email that I got from Hearts.
Only you beautiful Scottish people would sell a chalice with your Premier League team, and I love you for it.
100%. But I did order a kit, and I ordered a awesome keychain that has great. But anyways, hopefully that gets here because I will 100% cheering on Hearts. And we'll see what tomorrow's result holds because that is going to play just as big.
Yeah.
Because again, the table sits Hearts won 77 points plus 32 goal difference. Celtic are in second, 76 points plus 29 goal difference.
And with the math, if Celtic were to win tomorrow and be at 79, Hearts can still, if they win this weekend, can still take the championship.
Sure. But they have to beat Celtic. They have to overtop them again.
Yeah.
This week is massive. Massive for the Scottish Premiership.
You couldn't ask for better into a professional league like that. That's awesome.
Absolutely. No. It's kind of fun how they do it with that championship group just kind of playing each other in the last 6 weeks of the season.
Not a playoff, but a playoff.
This kind of lines up. Yeah, it's kind of their way of doing a playoff. But
playoffs.
Dick Vermeil, was that who that was?
I think so.
All right. Well, thank you, Blake McManus.
I wish you could have that scotch with us, Blake McManus.
Oh, I do too, lads. I'll get my wee peaty drama after this.
Maybe a Lafroig or an Ardbeg.
Oh, got a wee Ardbeg waiting for me upstairs.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Lovely. All right. Hopping over to Spain, the 264th El Clasico, Barcelona 2, Real Madrid 0. Barcelona not only captured an El Clasico tying 106th victory. Yes, both teams have won it 106 times, but have been crowned your 2025-26 La Liga champions, doing so over their heated rivals in the process. And if you did not get to watch this game, not only to have kind of like an old firm derby that late in the season, to have an El Clasico that late in the season, awesome. 9 minutes in, my boy, Marcus Rashford, with a tremendous free kick. If you have not seen this, go back and watch it. It curls and nestles into that side netting of the goal so beautifully that it is just a chef's kiss of goal to see.
Is that a loan or a sell?
The loan, and Barca can't really afford to buy him, and United are sticking firm that, hey, you're going to pay 30 mil or you don't get him at all.
Do they have that? Do they have that?
Well, Barcelona don't have that. That's why they're like, hey, can we restructure this a little bit? No.
Pull another lever.
We know you want him. Pay up. Because he's still like 20, 4 or something.
Yeah.
Dude's young as hell. But yeah, Barcelona 2-0. In fairness, they've been the better. They've been the most consistent team over the course of the year. They also have a plus 60 goal difference opposed to a plus 37. So they've scored a fair bit of goals as well in the league. And Real Madrid, I don't think we covered it a whole lot last week, but they've been in turmoil the whole week. From infighting to players going to the hospital to just... It's been a mess at Madrid, and kind of all showed, especially in that first 20 minutes of this game. Afterwards, Madrid kind of settled into it, and it didn't really look like they were going to threaten too much. And Barcelona still had their chances, but you can almost tell, like, hey, we just settled into this game. We're going to get out of it with a win, and they sure as hell did.
But I mean, look at the spread this year. Barcelona at 91 points, Real Madrid at 77. It's kind of silly. Here's Tony's hot take. La Liga is kind of silly in general, because I don't see how that's fun for anybody.
It's we can talk about a lot of the leagues in Europe. It's dominated by a team or two, and this is a league that does that.
And that's one of the things I like about Premier League. It's one of the things I love about NWSL, that a team can be number one year and then 12th the following. Yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go. There's my hot take.
It's one of the things we love about the championship in England as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So we head back over to there, and we now know. That's what we do here. We now know who the final two clubs will be playing for the most valuable single club match in world football come May 23rd. So not this weekend, but the weekend after that. And if you didn't already know, we talked about it on the pod, Coventry automatically went up a few weeks ago. Last week,
did we see Lampard getting hammered on top of that bus?
Oh, good for him, lad. Go on, son.
That Coventry.
I hope he stays there. Please don't go to Chelsea. Please stay there.
I agree. I hope so as well. But
when Zabi is fired after the second month, 30 days in. I don't know, we'll see. Yeah.
He has a lovely bar in Eldo by the stadium.
He does.
I had a pint there before. It was glorious. Anyways, we did not mention that Ipswich Town will be back up in the Premier League, as they confirmed it not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, I believe. And a really cool thing, Ashley Young, who played for Aston Villa, Man United, Everton, you kind of name it. Long story great. I think he's older than you and me, Tony. Like he's either 42 or he's turning 40. He's like our age. His last game got Ipswich, helped to get Ipswich promoted to the Premier League. So very, 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 very cool for him. But in the playoffs, you had Millwall taking on Hull City, and you had Southampton taking on Middlesbrough. Now, there has been a bit of controversy because, like Canada, Southampton like to cheat.
Well played.
They like, sorry, Ron. I know you're still, nonetheless, there was a report a few weeks ago that somebody showed up at the Middlesbrough training ground and got booted out that is suspected to be a Southampton supporter. This was before their leg one match against Middlesbrough. So no, it wasn't the tip of a what do you call it in curling? Tip of the.
Oh, what was the guy's finger?
Your stone?
Yeah. What? Yeah. What was that controversy in Canada?
The tip of his finger touched the edge of the stone.
Yeah. It wasn't quite like that. It was more like what the women's team was doing and sending people over to spy.
Well, it was drones.
It was drones. It was.
They could afford drones because it's a national team.
Fair enough. They were actually sending some poor chap to go over. Hey, just go ahead and spy on these folks, and then just don't tell them you're from us, and come back.
Tell them you need some sugar, and while you're there, see if you can impersonate the plants.
There's a football game happening. Oh, I'll be done. Anyways, the first leg matches weren't a whole lot to necessarily write home about, we should say, because they were both 0-0. And that happened last weekend, I believe. Last weekend. And then there was it was for Friday and Saturday. It was both 0-0 in both the matches. Then yesterday, Hull City, who, yes, kids at home, not you grandmas, you kids, they were in the Premier League once upon a time.
With young Harry Maguire.
Yes, indeed.
And De Silva as their manager.
Do you remember?
Fantastic.
Oh, do you remember who their head coach was then?
It was Silva. Wasn't it De Silva?
I thought it was. I'm going to see his name. I'm going to get to it here in a second.
When it was Harry Maguire, right before when they got relegated, it was pretty sure it was De Silva.
Yes, he may have been at the time, but I'm going to Google this and find out. But anyways, they won. They won 2-0 on the day yesterday, which was actually at Millwall. So Hull City played at home at first, and it was a 0-0. But 2 goals, one in the 64th, one in the 79th, especially by Gil Hart, who, if I'm not mistaken, is kind of their big lad there, and kind of a talisman of that team.
Hull City was the last time Maguire was good.
Liam Rosenthal, I never say this right. The Chelsea manager that
he was, yes,
he was there.
He was, but that they weren't in the Premier League. Who I'm thinking of, you're right. Marco Silva was correct in 2007. Yeah. I was thinking of Phil Parkinson was also there.
Yes.
And Steve Bruce.
It wasn't.
It's a good solid name, Steve Bruce.
Yep. Who I was thinking of? Oh God, I'm gonna find it from this darn list. Was it Phil Brown? It was Phil Parkinson and Phil Brown. Phil Brown after that, I believe. No, sorry, Ian Dowie. Oh. Ian Dowie was the one that I was thinking of. He was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. I was thinking Marco Silva, and I actually really like Marco Silva. I think
who's that? Fulham though.
Yeah, he keeps bouncing around. I actually think Marco Silva's a really great manager. I think he needs to find the right fit. And I actually did once upon a time like Harry Maguire when he was on Hull City.
And do you know who else was on Hull City? Was Harry Kane on Hull City? No.
Was he?
Oh, no.
You know what I do know, and this is very important for people to know. If you want to buy if you wanted to buy yourself a Whole City a kit or T-shirt, you go to tigerleisure.com, which is just fantastic. And you can, in fact, buy a full Tiger suit. I just wanted everybody out there to know that.
Tigerleisure.com. I feel like if I type that in, my child lock is going to cut on.
Safe search off.
Well, while Blake's having his internet shut down.
Oh my God. Why is that the name of the website? It's true. It's
right?
true.
Tiger Leisure. It's great. I adore them.
Okay, but now, Ferris, have you been there?
No.
Okay, well, I'm sending this to you right now because I'm going to tell you, their little winter gear and there's vest stuff. Those are sexy.
It's great.
Check them out, dude.
I'll let you say I really want Hull to come back up. I would really love it if Hull came back up.
Check those out, dude.
What? Yeah. Isn't that
It's got like almost like silver. It's like they're black, the jackets and whatever. They're like black with like a gray pauldron with like a yellow.
Oh, that's slick. Yeah.
That's really cool. Actually.
And they have shirts on sale right now that say Wembley 2026 EFL Championship Playoff Final, which they are in.
I would love to see them come back up. Sorry, Southampton. I would love to see Hull City come back up.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have Hull. Then I agree. I agree with that.
100%. And Southampton, the people that we just cheated, they won today. Yeah. 2-1. It was a 5-minute goal by McCree for Middlesbrough, but then a 46-minute goal and a 116th minute, which means that would have been in the second part of the extra time.
Yep.
In the second half of extra time.
Is that Jean-Luc Picard's team? No, that's Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield Town is
Huddersfield is Patrick Stewart.
Or Patrick Stewart. Apologies, Patrick Stewart, if you're listening. For briefly thinking you were Middlesbrough. Hey, West Brom looks like they're going to stay up, and that's what I was worried about because of our boy.
Yeah, no, they're going to stay up. They're not in any danger.
They're just above the line.
They are. Well, yeah,
but
they are. Your teams that I think are confirmed going down. Yes. Oxford United, Leicester City, which we talked about on the pod, and Sheffield Wednesday, which we also talked about on the pod. However, both of them just won their games this past week. A little late there.
Sheffield Wednesday with 0 points.
Yeah, they've been deducted so much, and their ownership, and it's been terrible there. But Southampton and Hull City will be playing that most expensive game and most single game in club match, May 23rd, the EFL playoff final.
Fantastic.
And that has been your La Liga's roundup.
Is that it?
Yeah, man.
That's it.
We've been on it for a bit, but it's been a very fun one. I've enjoyed this.
Yeah, we're only over by about 12 minutes, so thank you all for hanging in there.
Like Tony, last minute, come over and join one of our longer pods.
Yeah, right. Well, I was the reason it was a longer pod because I derailed us about beer and then said, "Hey, what about Eddie Howe?" So
fair, but like it's when we weren't we're not reviewing every game. We're talking 3 things and then 6 things total. It's just how that parlays onto each other. Sand our dice. If you're listening, try a parlay. You might actually win a bet. But anyways.
Hey, when is Orlando City going to sign a manager? We don't have time.
No. Whole different pod.
Yeah. You guys got a home game tomorrow, right? For the Union.
Yeah. Hopefully Ron isn't hugging a toilet and we can go to that game together.
I might rather hug a toilet than watch Orlando City again.
Fair point for a large part of this season.
Yeah, but thank God they beat Miami. It feels very like
lose every other game.
You know what? Every game we lose now makes that victory feel more embarrassing to them.
Yep.
Just so sweet.
So now I want us to lose out.
Warms the cockles of my heart, or it could be this amazing scotch.
Oh man.
It's one of the two.
Well, speaking of, beer mentions the pod. First is your scotch. Which one did you have again?
Lafroig 10-year.
I like a 10-year peaty malt.
I love single malt Scotch whiskey.
Yeah.
Aged 10 years.
They're so much more smokier, the 10 years.
Fantastic.
And you also had?
And I also had a Little Kings, which you can only get in Central Ohio.
Yep.
Diametrically opposed on the scale there, I feel like those two.
Yeah.
100%. I had a Pacifico while we were doing the Scotch beforehand. I know they don't go hand in hand, but hey, listen. It's our world. And then our second beer of the pod, which is quite good, and I've downed it quite fast, is Fishin' Brits Big Ben British Best Bitter. from Ivanhoe Park Brewing. And if I say that 5 times fast, we're not going to try that. But Adam, Wayne,
that's just bigger.
Well done, Ivanhoe Park. Well done. Go and listen to their podcast. Again, the podcast is the Fish and Brits podcast.
Poor Adam. He from the Fish and Brits podcast had listened to me do my bad Scottish accent every day he came to work with me. Every day. All right. So I love that we did his pod and I had a Scottish accent on here. And I had from St. Bernardus, I had the Prior 8 double, and it's taken my spot for best double there is. This is delicious.
I want to give that a try, man, because I don't think I've seen that around here. So
you still have some left? What are you doing over there?
I was letting it warm up to see how the flavor profile changed. Be totally nerdy about it. Actually, I was very much on the sip, seeing how it was going. All had a point. Plus, I have to have just a little bit left at the end there to toast at the very end. I don't like faking it.
Yeah, I'm faking.
That's there we go. There it came.
Only took 100 or 1 hour and 45 minutes to get into that.
Yeah.
There you go.
So follow us on the Brewtiful Game. Check us out on Untap. We'll put up all these beers. If you listen to whatever podcast you listen to us on, leave a rating review. But most importantly, tell your grandma and great grandmas about us. That is our biggest and growing demographic. We really appreciate your help. Ferris, do you have a Zlatan quote?
Tell me when to stop. And Tony, do you want to tell me when to stop?
Actually, I think Tony should. Yeah.
Stop. Why did I yell that? You're for me.
We're talking in a microphone with headphones. You don't have to yell. All right. So I have 2 on the right page that we've covered, 2 on the left that we have not. And this hurts my heart because this is a team that is really, really low down. But Bordeaux is my team in France, if anybody does not know. Zlatan rages after PSG had just lost to my Bordeaux 3-2. Bordeaux's in the third tier. I think it might get promoted. Anyways, he is quoted as saying, wake up. We're not amateurs. Asshole. I've never seen this in my 15 years playing football. I've been playing for 15 years, and I've never seen good refereeing in this country. They don't even deserve PSG in this country.
That's how I felt after the Pride game tonight.
Yes. That is how have we not stumbled across that?
That's a good one.
That's great.
Yeah. Dog ear that. Save that one. It'll come back.
That's an awesome one.
That might.
Oh man,
that might be one of the best ones so far.
That is pretty good. Well done, Tony.
All right, gents, grab your glasses, and for everybody listening, as the Premier League season is wrapping up, if your team wasn't doing that great, and just know there's another season around the corner, just remember when it comes to the Premier League, anything can happen. There are VAR better days ahead. Did you get it? There are VAR better days ahead. Yeah? Love the beer. Yeah. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Absolutely. Song's a banger, Blake.